What is up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints? And I am conflicted too. I was enjoying that J stream. When I decided to do this tonight, it was right before Jay went live, and now that's becoming a really good conversation. But I decided to do this tonight, I decided if I did it tomorrow, that would be half of the open room. So I'm gonna do it tonight. But yes, I mean, don't feel conflicted. That was a good conversation. If you're into a serious conversation about what's going on right now, they're having it right now. If you're into a fucking odd experience I had last night with the Christian I've talked to before, biblical, and his sexual relationship that he is in with God, well, this is the place for you tonight. So yeah, it's going to be an odd one. It's going to be an Easter weekend special because, it's such a special holiday. Yesterday, roughly about 4,000 years ago yesterday, God sent his homicidal monster demon killer to kill all the firstborn children of Egypt. And then also a couple thousand years ago, I guess, this dude named Jesus died. And then, about 2,000 years ago tomorrow, that dude named Jesus would rise again and incite a zombie apocalypse that didn't quite become an apocalypse. Nobody ever really knows what happens to all the zombies that rose from the graves that night. The Bible doesn't address that part. We only know that they rose. So it's a special weekend. And why not celebrate this special weekend with some God sex? I think it's called for. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start it here at this point because this is like one of the first times it really came up. Like he had made a comment and we were like, oh, fuck, what? You have sex with God. But then, somebody brought it up again and then it would come up a couple other times. So I'm going to start it here. I'm going to skip forward and then I'm just going to play through because even when we're not talking about the God sex, still fucking cray, yo. Biblically. Oh, it was interesting on Grr Streams last night. And if you're not subscribed to Grr Streams, well, you should be because, if I'm not there causing a shit show, I'm usually part of some fiasco or another. So let's get right into it.
Hey, I'm getting sick of him at this point.
Can I ask my question before you?
I'm not going to kick him out, but Jesus Christ.
Biblically, can you elaborate on the male lover part? Because that's the part that really like. I am intrigued by how God makes love to you.
Yeah, before you start fucking me like you're doing right now, take me to dinner first.
And if you can provide like verses too, that'd be great.
Bangers and mash, yo.
Wait, it's the Song of Solomon. Is that the dirty book of the Bible? Song of Solomon?
Kind of, yeah.
Yes, it is.
I'm interrupting. I'm sorry. Go ahead, biblically.
Biblically, well, I was going to address a point by Corey, is that our God of the Bible is perfect because he is ultimate. So there shouldn't be an issue for you to repeat the following phrase, our God of the Bible is perfect.
Our God of the Bible is perfect. It doesn't mean shit to me.
I don't see how you can even get there. I mean,
I just want to know
about an imperfect God.
I just want to know what's so important about somebody repeating that phrase to you.
Again, it's not a big deal. It only seems like a big deal.
No, it is. It's a big deal to you because you refuse to progress in any type of conversation until somebody pretends to play echo. So I want to know why that is so important.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
It's for us to set a foundation amid this discussion. So in other words, it's a way for me to suss you out, as it states in the Bible that there are wolves in sheep's clothing.
But it's not a foundation, and it's clearly a foundation none of us agree with. So if any...
I think I actually started it at the wrong spot. I didn't hit the mark I wanted. But we're not too far from where I was going to skip forward to. So we'll just let it play and let the insanity ensue.
What it seems to do is be a slippery move in an attempt to pigeonhole somebody later because you can be like, aha, I got you. We laid this foundation that nobody agreed to but me. So again, why is it so important?
And we're not wolves in sheep's clothing. We would be wolves in wolves' clothing. Like most of us here, I'm assuming all of us here are probably atheists and don't
Yeah, I
pretend
think
not
so.
to be. Like we're literally the wolves in the
Totally.
wolf clothing.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm lying.
Yeah, look at Corey's picture.
Yeah,
There's no
and
such
I'm
thing as
lying.
atheists. Again,
let's take it to the extreme. Yes, deep down, I'm going to grant you everything. Yes, there's deep down a God or whatever. Yes, I'm holding it back.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you all of it. Okay, I'm giving you the whole 9 yards of everything that you want.
All right, so like, I was on my way home from work and I was playing the stream in a car, and the reason I decided to go in was because biblically it was sitting there saying, atheists don't exist. All atheists are liars. They really believe in God. They know that God exists, and it kind of pissed me off. So I came in here to be like, all just like I'm gonna go at this dude pretty hard. I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna start a shit show like I do sometime. But once I got in there and actually started listening to the dude, I remembered like I streamed with this dude before, and yeah, I'm fairly certain I kicked him off my stream because he gets ridiculous. So it immediately became like just funny to me, and I wasn't irritated anymore. Just listening to him say biblically, it was sweet, and like I just get such this. His voice reminds me a lot of Ray Comfort. I hear him and I hear Ray Comfort, even though like Ray Comfort I don't think says the same shit, but it's funny, and I kind of immediately got out of like attack mode and was just like pretty much had my mic muted for most of it because I was just fucking laughing.
Guess what? I don't give a fuck. I still ain't
It's like
going to worship
God.
him. I'm still not going to worship him because of his stupid moral foundation. The way that I see is so inherently wrong that I cannot even see myself getting on my knees and go.
Corey
Now,
is so hot
I'm
right
you
now.
will get on. You will bow. You
I'm
will bow your
asking
knee.
you.
I never really put it together, but now I'm like, because I've seen Satan's Little Helper in my side chat all the time. But I've always talked to Corey on Grr Streams, and he always calls himself Corey. And I never put two and two together and matched those avatars. And now I'm seeing that you two are one and the same. So, nice to finally understand who Satan's Little Helper is.
A simple question. It's a yes or no question. And please don't say no biblically. It's literally 2 answers. That's all I want. Yes or no. Is there anything inherently that a God could do that would make you stop worshiping him?
False hypothetical. So
Doesn't
I'm not
matter. Just
entertaining
answer the
your
question.
false
Let's make it a
Answer the damn question, man.
And
Stop dodging.
it's not a false hypothetical. Like literally,
Yeah.
the God of the Old Testament has done many things that I find morally reprehensible, and I cannot
drowning
follow.
babies. Like
Yeah,
God drowned
all up
babies.
there.
Is drowning babies immoral?
Biblically, again, there is a difference between
Otangelo Grasso, before you get timed out for being a transphobe, so before you guys time him out for being a transphobe, please answer me. What is biblical about having sex with God, about being in a sexual relationship with God? And you're going to see, I even clarify, I ask him, like, are you being like metaphorical, my dude? When you say you're in a sexual relationship with God? And he was like, nope. Erections are involved. Ejaculation is involved. What's biblical about that, Otangelo Grasso?
It's a
killing
yes or
and
no
murder.
question. It's a yes or no question. Is drowning babies immoral? Babies are innocent. They didn't commit any sin. Like, if you drowned a baby, is that immoral?
You need to be more specific.
What?
So-
Okay, let's cut all the film. That's drowning babies. Is it immoral? No Bible, no nothing.
Question. Is
It's
drowning
not immoral for God because He knows the futures of these
so if
babies.
God does it, so if God does it, it's not immoral. Is that your answer?
Because it's Pacific.
Okay, so God. So
Yeah,
essentially,
caught
what
that.
you're saying is God, whatever God does, it's not immoral. It becomes moral. Correct?
Yes. Biblically?
Yes, He can. He
Okay,
knows
yes.
the futures of people.
Okay.
So He hasn't murdered anyone.
Biblically.
Sure, He has killed people, but
he knows the future of everyone. So when he killed every person on the planet, by biblically's insane logic here, every person on the planet except for the family of Moses, of course, and I mean that can be disputed because like Ham quickly saw his dad naked and shit ensued. But everybody else was just going to grow up wicked as hell, evil, not only having sex with 13-year-olds like Smokey Saint, but even younger, sex with animals. I hear all this shit. Like everybody, like they use their worst imagination when they imagine, how people were that would justify this atrocious, monstrous act by their God. And we really shouldn't be surprised that here we are on this weekend that's pretty much celebrating the 2,000-year anniversary of a human sacrifice for this fucking thing. That these people believe that way. Because we're still, like, literally here celebrating this 2,000 anniversary, over 2,000-year anniversary for a human sacrifice, so God could start again.
There's no problem here.
Okay, biblically, just to piggyback off of
hang on a
Jason.
minute. No, there is still a problem with that. Let me just quickly elucidate the problem with that. As you say, he's killed people by drowning them. But if he's omniscient, then he needn't have drowned them. He could have just killed them and taken them straight to heaven without any kind of pain.
Same thing with the problem of evil. Like, why create evil to do good when you're God and you're triomni? You could have just done the good. So essentially, drowning babies or creating evil that leads to good indicates God's a monster. God does really horrible things. He wouldn't have to do those horrible things. He's omnipotent. He could have just snapped his fingers and made the babies disappear.
Wait, it wouldn't even really like truly be the 2,000-year anniversary yet, would it? Like that would be like what, 2030 maybe as late as 2033. I don't know.
Here or like not suffered pain, but he drowned him. That doesn't seem to be a good God.
Well, obviously, he chose to drown people as this leaves behind evidence of his actions.
Babies. It doesn't leave behind evidence.
He killed
babies.
He killed babies to leave behind evidence that he killed babies. Biblically,
I'm talking about the flood in general.
Just yes or
no. The flood in general doesn't leave evidence of babies being killed.
It doesn't, but let's just say.
I hope you guys enjoy because I enjoyed this. I was laughing pretty much the whole time. You're not going to hear me speak up too much. I'll speak up every once in a while, and I'd even turned up my microphone in StreamYard, but it was still a bit low. I was just laughing and laughing
for his sake of argument that it did. Okay, God didn't murder, but he did kill. But it wasn't murder because it's God. No matter what God does, it's all good. He killed babies to leave evidence that he killed babies. Is that correct biblically?
No, you're possibly misrepresenting me. What I was saying is that
possibly
somebody said that he could flick his finger. And my response to that is he chose to drown these people.
But he could have. That's the difference.
Babies.
We should be getting to the God sex soon. Like, I'm past my mark now. I don't know why we're still talking about this shit.
And it's...
He's perfect. It states his way is perfect. So if he chose to drown, there's a reason behind his actions.
Listen, I agree. Killing babies is perfect.
He could have snapped his fingers and left the evidence without killing the babies. He could have.
The Beatles said. The Beatles said they were bigger than Jesus. Is that accurate? Because they said it.
No.
Do you have to be on your knees to be the perfect male lover for God?
Yes, let's get back to that, please.
I gotta hold it in the exact right. Why does it look like?
Biblically, repeat after me. I am God's perfect male lover.
Yes, I am God's perfect male lover. Hence my username. Biblically, God's perfect.
You know what? That's very progressive of you.
How does God make love to you? Like, I really want to know. Like, I'm not joking.
Biblically, by giving me warm, tingly feelings inside. So we do have a sexual relationship.
What?
What?
Hold on.
Dude,
no, wait.
this is
wait.
a
See,
No,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
what I'm
You're a
saying.
troll.
It's
Wait, Corey.
Are
wait,
you
hold
really
on, hold on.
trolling this? I
Wait.
swear.
All right, so hashtag normalize blaspheme. I don't want to take away from the important blaspheming that's going on here. But did y'all fucking hear that shit?
Troll.
Either
No.
trolling or just wacky.
This
Just
seems really
cray-cray.
nutty.
Did you say you and God have a
A
sexual
sexual relationship.
relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, you
That's-
can too if you choose
I-
to live a perfect life.
Dude, I
God
would
damn.
love that. That would.
Jesus
I,
needs to keep his PP over there.
oh
Damn,
my
I was
God.
hoping you'd be. I was hoping this was genuine.
Wow.
So
Guess-
how do you
guess-
how do you
guess
how do you
what
have
my
a
next-
sexual
Guess what my next search is going to be on Pornhub?
God sexuality or something?
So I mean, for me, it's like I don't see how any Christian really takes that seriously. So to see Otangelo come in here and be like, biblically is very biblical. Say what, Otangelo? So having sex with God, what does that entail? What are is there a physical presence involved, for one? For two, if there's not, like, what are the pictures in your head? Human beings, we're very visual creatures, especially we men. As I know, as I beat off myself personally, I got me some good solid pictures going on in my mind. And man, my microphone from low to just popping. It's popping tonight. So hopefully it's not popping too much for y'all, because I don't have any I took my filter off of it. It's funny, but because it's been so low. At the same time, I'm
Damn
truly
it.
interested in this. So are you speaking metaphorically, or are you talking about like a real sexual relationship? Like you get off on like Jesus gets you off like physically.
Good question.
Yes, he has. Like he's made.
Okay, Corey, I'm sorry I doubted you.
All right, so in case y'all didn't catch that, I'm going to rewind that. But I was trying to get serious. Like, dude, you're not fucking serious. You're talking some like metaphor. You're fucking trolling, right? So let's rewind that just a bit. And you got to be really sensitive because it's like a 7-hour stream. Holy shit, Grr. How you stream for 7 hours, dude? All right, so let's go to... No, that's even too far. Let's go right there. Metaphorically, or are you talking about like a real sexual... Not far enough. So let's go there. Metaphorically, or are you talking about like a real... That was stupid. That was like right where I was before. All right. Let's go here. No, that was not what I wanted to do. It's so long that just the littlest clip. All right, we'll try right there.
For pain, but he
Brought him straight
drowned
to
him.
heaven.
That doesn't seem to be
Did I go back way too far?
a good God.
Mhm.
Well, obviously, he chose to drown people as
I hate
this
that.
leaves behind evidence of his actions.
Babies.
I
It
hate
Wait,
doesn't
wait,
leave
wait.
behind evidence
He
because they're
killed.
babies.
I'm sorry I doubted you.
Can you pleasure God?
Yes.
Yeah,
Can you?
All right, note to self, don't try to skip back on a 7-hour stream. I've made that mistake 1,000 times. You think I'd learn by now. Damn it.
Next time anybody says anything, don't doubt me, okay? I got you.
Okay. So how do you sexually pleasure God? Let's just see how far this goes.
You take the whole
so,
9
look,
yards.
we don't look. It's for privacy reasons, for YouTube terms and conditions. I'd rather we not go down this path. So
Oh, I'm listening now. You have
Just
my
use
undivided
euphemism.
attention.
Use euphemisms.
I can understand not wanting to go down the path, but you done took us down this rabbit hole. What did you expect? Like, I don't understand how. I'm assuming this isn't the first time he's spoken on this, because like it seems like people knew of his thoughts here. But what do you expect? How are people supposed to react when you're saying literally like you have this sexual relationship with God? What does that entail? And again, there's going to be periods of off and on where we're kind of talking about this, and you can tell like none of us are really taking it very seriously, and having fun at his expense here. You can argue whether that's right or wrong, but it's definitely entertaining and fun. But it's going to get detailed, and it kind of, in a way, and it gets super, super weird. So on this Easter holiday weekend, I have to ask y'all if y'all are having that good sex with God, because I have to assume if you're having sex with God, well, that's just the best sex ever.
So
You had me at when
that's
he
all you need
makes
to
me
know.
tingle.
You have opened the biggest rabbit hole in the history of YouTube, my dude. We have to go further.
I'm
Right.
so fucking
Dude, I was
curious.
taking you seriously
said,
for
Rach,
like the
well
last half an hour. I swear to God, I was actually.
I called it. I called it.
I
That-
know.
I can't believe you're really saying that you have a sexual relationship with God. Like, what does that mean? Like, you have
Good
sex with God?
question.
Yes.
You have
Again,
sex with God.
he is love.
Okay,
Non-binary.
wait a minute. Love it. Wait a minute. You can have sex with somebody and not love them. I can love somebody and not have sex with them. They're not. They're mutually exclusive. So if you can have, but you're saying you have a sexual relationship with God.
Yes.
So
you
are
can
actually.
too.
Oh shit! Now wait a second.
Okay,
I don't know about
let
that.
me point out.
I need to know about this. Tell me exactly how do I have this sexual experience?
Well, before you
Wait.
do, let me point out that Jesus sits at the right hand of God for a reason.
Oh, the right
Okay.
hand.
No, panel, I'm going to stand up for biblically here because we've heard callers call in and talk about angels having sex with people. And we've seen demons sexually possessing people. So this isn't out of the realm of the wacky. I'm just trying to understand the mechanics of it.
I almost feel like it's blasphemous biblically for you to say these things.
It's not. I'd rather we
I
not
can
go
tell you,
down
you're
this
going
rabbit
to hell.
trail because of the YouTube terms and conditions. And so
He's worried about YouTube terms and conditions. So like, is that implying like he's actually itching at the bit to go into the details? He probably wants to talk about this more than anything. But how can he sit there and say that this is biblical? Like I don't get that. I don't think anybody would agree with him. Like ever in the history of Christianity, that you can literally have a sexual relationship with God. I don't think that's very biblical.
YouTube's not going to ban you for that kind of they'll ban you for saying things that are like racist or sexist or homophobic, but like we're having a conversation about sex. I don't think that's a problem at all.
but
He's-
Frank,
God
if
is
you want to go into
non-binary.
detail,
You can't be
then
sexist.
Educational.
Wait. Biblically, wait. Just 2 seconds, and then I swear.
You know, I was dying to know. I never got around to asking because I was so busy laughing. But you know, does God spit or swallow? I just wanted to ask, and I never got around to it.
You'll have the mic. Does anybody remember Wesley Curry? I'm not going to let him in.
Of course.
He's
yeah.
backstage. Could you imagine him and biblically?
No,
talking?
Wesley
I'm not
is
going to let it happen,
honestly.
Biblically won't.
Hey, what's up, Digital Demonic Davros? I see Jason Torn and John Hudson's, Tom Scott, Stoner Dad, Henry Hansen, Satan's Little Helper, Maynard Saves, Smoke Weed Every Day, Debt Hand, and everybody else in the side chat, everybody that's going to watch, having some fun tonight. Having some fun with, I mean, I'm just going to say it, like a mental-ass Christian. He's got some mental issues going on here, I think. Probably just needs to really get laid, you know, like have real sex that, you know, stop masturbating to God. I don't think he thinks he's actually in a real sexual relationship with God, but I find it like, you know, and hashtag normalize blaspheming, but I'm going to have to say, I find it very blasphemous that he's imagining God while he's beaten off.
Understand what Wesley's saying. And
I don't understand.
Maybe let it happen.
I don't
Maybe-
understand what biblically
I'm just
saying.
kidding.
No, actually,
don't
I-
tip me, goddammit, Pixie.
honestly, Gurr, I think Wesley is having psychological challenges.
He has psychological issues.
That's why I don't let him in. I wasn't sure at first. Anyways, go ahead biblically. I think somebody had asked you a question. I'm sorry I cut you off, but continue telling us about God's sex.
Well, here's a statement that anyone in this room can respond to: is that our God of the Bible created the universe? Responses.
That gets me so hard when you say that.
You're saying, do we have an argument against our God of the, like your God of the Bible, our God of the Bible created the universe? Is that what you're saying?
Your question is not an argument regarding Genesis 1:1.
I'm just getting I'm asking you.
It was a question. Man. So how do you try to go from blowjobs with Jesus to God created the universe, like in just the matter of seconds? Like, that seems a dramatic switch to me, but it happens a few times.
Clarifying questions aren't arguments. So
no shit, he was trying to ask a question to clarify. What are you even saying? That's what we're saying. Say it again so we can understand it.
Yeah, nicely put. Great.
Biblically, Father God created the universe. This comports with Genesis 1:1. No. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
If I hear that goddamn verse again, I'm going to scream.
So that's how do we argue against that? Is that your question?
You're posing an argument. Your position is God created the universe because it said so in the Bible. That's your argument, right?
I'm appealing to divine revelation.
He's been saying biblically the whole time.
Again,
I noticed that too.
I'm appealing to the Bible and the knowledge of God at the same time.
I doubt that we'll get that far, but at some point, I can't remember if I'm pretty sure it was live, because I don't think I was there until the very, very end. I think I left before they actually went off air. But like, this dude gives me some serious cult vibes. I've covered the family. I've covered a lot of cults. And a lot of the cults I cover, while they start here in America for the most part, they oftentimes end up over in Europe, but also a lot of them end up in Australia. A lot of the family compounds have been raided by Australia authorities and shut down, and children have been taken away, and they had this very sexual vibe going in that cult. So I was getting some very deep family vibes from biblically as he was going through his whole, I'm in a sexual relationship with God deal.
The knowledge of God. Where are you getting the knowledge of God? I don't understand where that comes from.
Biblically, through the revelation of God. So, in other words, sacred theology.
So essentially, you're saying that God created the universe because you say so, because of revelation.
Sorry,
I'm happy to elaborate on my claim, but you have to be willing.
And like, even the way he talks, I've got quite a few Australian friends, and they all have their peculiar little accents, but he talks like slow and drawn out. When I was covering the Church of Wells, and I can't remember her name, but the woman, Catherine Grove, I think her name was, that went missing, and her parents found her in that church. She spoke in the same way. It was, she was clearly drugged, but it was this like low, long and drawn out way of speaking. And I think a lot of cults teach their people that, especially like in defense of their spiritual and religious beliefs. So like, I just got a lot of cult vibes from this dude. I don't know him. I don't know if he has ever been in a cult, but I've just covered a lot of cults, and I got really culty vibes from this dude.
To listen. So I just presented you a statement. So for me to get an understanding on where to go in this discussion. So for the sake of this discussion, I'll repeat the aforementioned statements, and then depending on your response, we can move forward. So our God of the Bible created the universe.
No.
Nope.
What's your
No.
Nope.
And from here on forward, every time he says biblically, you have to drink.
Oh God.
My response to that statement is we do not see evidence that would suggest.
Yeah, if I'd have played that drinking game with Will Kincaid that night, he would have surely died. He almost died anyway, trying to drink with me. But if we'd have played take a shot every time biblically says biblically, both of us would have probably been dead that night.
That God created the universe, everything that we know about our natural world, about all the aspects of science and through naturalism, does not suggest that God created the universe. And we have ample evidence to suggest that it's not, that there are naturalistic causes, not theistic causes. That's my response.
If you're going to make a claim that God created the universe, you need to provide evidence that God created the universe, and you can't use Genesis 1:1. That's not evidence.
Corey's trying to kill me. I just want to point out that I'm barely over 100 pounds. This drinking game will kill me.
Our God of the Bible is ultimate.
See, Pixie thought that was Corey, but that was me. That was my idea.
So he meets the prerequisites to be eternal, universal, and so forth. And matter is irreducibly complex. So in other words, matter is three-dimensional, contingent on parts. So the universe cannot have always existed. Therefore, our God of the Bible exists.
Okay, you made a statement. Provide evidence to support your statement. The universe had a beginning. Provide support for that. What evidence do you have that that's the case? That the universe hasn't existed in perpetuity? What evidence do you have to suggest that that's not the case?
All right, so we are on a side tangent from the issue of tonight, but biblically's sexual relationship wasn't the issue of last night. It's just the issue that blew us away the most, probably. So we're off on a tangent. I don't know how he goes, like, in the matter of mere seconds from, pounding Yahweh to how Yahweh started the universe. I don't see how those correlate, but he does that, and he's able to do that. And so we're off on one of those tangents. But even in these tangents, the insanity is there. So we'll get back to the sex stuff. Have no worries about that. I don't know how long. Again, I had my initial starting point. I totally effed that up. But when I decided to do this, I decided to do this. I didn't go through the stream to get the timestamp. So we're just going to listen to all of the insanity. But sex with God, we're not done with that shit.
As I've stated, matter is irreducibly complex. So it has height, depth, and width. So it's contingent on parts. So it cannot have always existed.
That's not evidence. You're just making a statement. You're just making a.
And I agree with Jason. My position has always been, I don't pretend to know. I'm not even a scientist that has information to make a hypothesis on it. But from what I do know of science, I don't think it's really set in stone that the universe had a beginning. I think that there's both sides to it. In fact, I remember reading recently that new science has come out suggesting that the universe is eternal. So I definitely don't think it's like stone cold solid science at this point that there was ever any beginning to our universe.
Statement.
This is empirical evidence.
No, it's not empirical evidence. What do you have a paper that can support what you're saying on your irreducibly complex statement?
Your physical vessel is irreducibly complex and has
what
high
evidence
depth
do you have
and width.
What evidence do you have of that?
This is empirical evidence.
What provide the evidence?
I'm looking at you. I'm looking through your camera.
That's not evidence. No, I'm just saying that you have evidence is not evidence. Provide the evidence.
You are evidence.
I am evidence of something that is irreducibly complex. How is it that I am irreducible? What is the evidence? Just my physical presence is evidence of something that is irreducibly complex.
And it was definitely. And I'd be interested in, like the first Christians and how they thought about what they would have thought about what biblically here has to say. But I don't think that, like both factions, I think Paul's faction and then the faction of the apostles, I don't think either one of those major factions of early Christianity would have been on board with this. I think that they would have probably considered this as blasphemous. But I don't know. I think that's an interesting question. So, like, Otangelo maintains that biblically is biblical. So maybe biblically has it right, and maybe Christians should all be in a sexual relationship with God. You know, blowjobs from Jesus for all. If you come to Jesus, you're going to get a blowjob. I think might be a good selling point. And then you just find out later that it's just a raw rub that you got to imagine.
What is that evidence? How is
that you are limited? So it's fallacious to invoke a limited starting point. You need a God who is ultimate and not contingent on parts.
That made no sense. How do you go from because you're limited, you have to believe in something unlimited? That doesn't make any sense.
You want me to?
No, it doesn't.
I'll break down this why, because you really want clarification. When I pour some water, that's a demonstrable fact. If I have a cap on a bottle, I can almost guarantee that cap, if it has not broken the seal, it's not going to drop down and spew out water. Right? Because this is practical. When I open the cap and I pour it down and I see there's a puddle, that's observable. I can do this over and over again. Now, when you saying that we need a tangent being, we need some type of being outside of us, there is no way for you to demonstrate that. Can you demonstrate that in some type of way without going to your book?
Corey, I'm going to answer you, and the answer is biblically insert random ass fucking assertion here. But how did biblically draw us back in to having a serious conversation with him? That was
I find myself, and I turned it down a little bit because man, the audio is super loud as well. So if it's too low, let me know. But I agree. Like, I am dumbfounded by how we went from being next to God in bed to a serious conversation about God creating the universe. And it happened a few times, I think, if I'm recalling correctly. So what an insane conversation. Like, I just walked into it fully expecting, like, I was just going to go rage and start a shit show on Grr Streams like I do occasionally. And instead, I just was hit with pure absurdity and possible just total mental instability. I don't even know.
This is serious.
Jason. It's Jason's fault. He was sensible. Jason was sensible.
Because, I just naturally think that people are want to be honest in their as an interlocutor. But it's hard for me to believe that somebody is just like bullshitting. They're just making
Jason,
shit up.
I haven't been on YouTube.
Yeah, how long have you been on the internet, man?
For start, he's not bullshitting. For secondly, all he's doing is repeating badly arguments that have been given for 1,000 years.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Let's not kid ourselves here. All right, we've all heard these arguments: argument from contingency, argument for teleology, argument against the infinite regress.
Okay,
argument. I mean,
and he's mixing them all up. He's mixing them all together.
Absolutely. But the point is, when he says, "Do we know there's a God?" Right? We just say there's no reason to believe it to be true. I mean, he's done.
Right.
That's it. He's got no answer to that.
You're contradicting yourself.
No. Biblically,
how is he contradicting himself?
Biblically, listen, I don't know how, but somehow I forget that you were talking about having sex with God.
That's what the fun thing is.
This guy's a troll, obviously a troll, or maybe something else that's more serious.
You never told us the mechanics of it.
But damn it, BS! I was about to kick him out, but okay. Biblically, no, that's fine.
Do it. I don't care.
I do want to hear. So, how does? I never thought I'd ask this in my life, but how does God turn you on?
All right, I think we're back to it now. Like I said, we had talked about it before, and it just kind of blew us all away when he first said it. And even I was like, what? Like, what? But I skipped past that part because this couldn't be a super 2.5 hour long stream. I did the stream with Khalil earlier. Tomorrow's Easter. I'm not a Christian. I don't celebrate Easter. My daughter is. My daughter's going with my brother and my sister-in-law to spend Easter at church with them. So they're gonna, Easter dinner, all of that Easter Christian shit. I don't like it, but she is who she is, and I'm not gonna take that away from her. But I'll be here all day, not practicing what I consider to be a really atrocious holiday. And I have practiced it up to this point. I've always just said, well, it's just like this family thing now, kind of like I do with Thanksgiving. But this year, I'm just not even doing that. I'm not even justifying it to that extent because it's a ridiculous week. It's one of the most ridiculous weekends we have. So while I can turn Thanksgiving into a family thing and make it for me personally about remembering the American Indian genocide, this is just about a Passover, a genocide of innocent children, a death and a resurrection a couple thousand years later. A really, really dumb holiday.
Again, I just have to think about God.
I'm the dad.
Does that get blood rushing to certain areas? I'm simply curious if you tell me.
Yeah, like when you think about him, what's the picture you get? Is it Gandalf? Is it Moses? Is it
him
this
like on a
big
cross?
ball of light? I'm interested.
Is it him like just bleeding from the skull? Like,
do you get a rush of
torture porn?
Do you get a rush of blood? Do you get a rush of blood to your head? Is that what happens?
Yeah, if when I'm studying God, I'm sometimes get head spins as his attributes are purely mind bending.
And
so
how does that translate to an erection? Does it?
Yeah, this is how we are to love God.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
And when you're using this erection, do you think about Jesus?
So Jesus is God. So if you want to go down that
topic, no, that's fine. Do you think about Jesus when you're using your erection?
So,
yeah. Do you refer to it as the erection as opposed to the resurrection?
Hang on.
Nice pun.
Oh, nice. Anyway, I'm kind of being serious here. I'm leading to a point.
Oh, we know.
At least a climax, anyway.
Yeah, you are.
No. So do you think about Jesus when you're using your erection to be YouTube terms of service correct?
Well, I'm being serious here.
Yeah, that's fine. Be serious.
We are.
Repeat the following phrase. Our God of the Bible is perfect.
Okay. Okay. So do you?
No.
Our God of the Bible is perfect. Tomorrow, I'm going to start the open room off with my thoughts on the perfection of God. I don't see how any Christian can get there, really. Just the mere notion that God's plan here on this planet has been perfect is a ridiculous notion to me. And to keep insisting that we as atheists, which I'm assuming most of the people in the room are atheist or at least agnostic, might have a pagan sprinkled in there somewhere, but I don't think so. Fairly certain it's a room full of atheists, and biblically is the lone theist in the room. So to continue to ask us to repeat that phrase, it's just like, for one, we can repeat it and it means nothing, but for two, it's very just, I don't know, icky. It's like icky. It's like icky taint. It makes you feel icky. It's nasty. It's like makes no fucking sense.
Do you picture Jesus when you're using your erection?
Again, if you want to go down that route, I would appreciate it if you repeat the following phrase to prevent flip-flopping.
I've already done that. I've already done that.
If you've used our Lord's name in vain, you have gone against the greatest commandment.
I didn't use your Lord's name in vain. I'm asking you a serious question. You're the one that's saying that God can bring you to a climax. And I'm just asking you, when that's happening, do you have a picture in your head? Because like we're men, right? I mean, men use a very visual when it comes to climaxing.
Can confirm.
Biblically, yeah, he has made it known that he looks like me. Okay. So, hence my username, God's Perfect Inamarato.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
So, like, when he says looks like me, I'm hoping he means, like, human, right? I always picture Gandalf the Grey when I think of God, myself personally. Just really old dude, long gray beard. Not gray robes, but white. But Saruman had the white robes until Gandalf became Gandalf the White. Gandalf the Grey was always my favorite Gandalf, and that's the picture I conjure up when I think of the Almighty Yahweh. And I hope that that's what he's referring to is like humans look like God, or God looks like humans, so he could pretty much conjure up whatever gets him off, and that could be God. But then you could also take it like he's talking about himself specifically, right? Like God has made it known biblically that he looks like me. He didn't say he looks like humans. He said he looks like me. So I have to ask: is biblically literally beating off to images of himself here? Because you could. I think he might mean it that way. That he literally pictures himself as he's beating off.
I get you. So you picture yourself as God.
Biblically, not to that extent, but
no.
Our Heavenly Father interacts with me, he gives me visions, and so forth. You too can have this life.
No, it's fine. I have a mirror. I don't need to think of it's God. I can just look in the mirror, and that's good enough for me.
You realize like I would say probably 98% of Christians on this planet would hear what you're saying right now biblically and call you a damn heretic.
Wrong way.
Biblically.
Not.
I mean, biblically speaking, is there any like biblical reason to believe you need to have a sexual relationship with God?
It's a good question, actually.
You don't have to be saved, but it's...
Wait, I can have sex with God without being saved?
It says that some people will make it... Well, hang on, let me address your other point, is that...
No, I don't realize I had another
whoever's name is not in the book of life will be thrown into the lake of fire. So... Not all Christians are perfect.
I can't wait to go to the lake of fire. It's going to be a hot time.
I'm going to
say that now, but you can't take a boiling bath.
I'm going to... Well, you can.
Watch me.
You can't.
I've had many boiling baths with many people. But
Lewis, I know you're getting so many video ideas from this.
Right now,
no,
I'm just
I have
thinking...
a question. BS, or can I ask one question?
Sure, go ahead.
Biblically,
hold on there, because I got to get going soon, and I've been listening for a while.
I forgot you were there.
Yep, I've been listening to this invigorating.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think that really kind of closes it off, because I mean, because Grr just kicks him out shortly after this. Am I wrong? Just a second. No, I don't think we're done with it. I'm going to try to skip forward without skipping forward too much, because this Deso person just has a question for Jason, and it kind of throws us off track for a second. So let's just kind of skip forward a little bit.
Intellectually, not otherwise.
Yeah.
So,
I biblically wish you a biblical
biblically speaking
creation moment.
Biblically, I wanted to say goodbye, Dessel. Biblically, bye.
Bye, Dessel.
Later, Dessel.
I said biblically bye, Dessel. God damn it.
Bye, Dessel.
He's just like left it going. Dessel, bye.
Tessel, are you going or not, bro?
Biblically, can I ask you a question biblically?
Biblically.
Well, I would appreciate it if my statement is addressed first.
I'll fucking repeat it. I don't care.
No, Genesis 1:1.
Oh, we haven't decided on that yet. Sufyan TX. I'm sure I butchered your name. Haven't decided on that yet. Well, it'll be definitely sooner than the 2 or 3 months it took between the last two. Definitely sooner than that. I would say probably a couple weeks. The next stream, like we have scheduled an open room with Khalil Lala next Saturday evening. So Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe. We agreed that we'll have an open room to where Khalil can come on. I'll kind of just play host and moderator, and people can come in and talk with Khalil.
Yeah, we know what it says.
Geez. In the beginning.
But that doesn't. I don't like. I understand God created you, and you couldn't have sex with him if he didn't create you. I understand how that works. But usually when we speak about male lovers, there is a specific sex act that is usually attributed to them. Do you get what I'm pitching to you here?
Again, I know where you're going with this.
It's a very specific act. It's a very specific act. It's the only real way, well, not the only real way.
The details is irrelevant at this point. So address Genesis 1:1.
I understand he made your butthole, and does he enter it? Is what I'm trying to ask.
So,
because you're his male lover, like it's not just an inside. Because does he have female lovers too?
And we're not knocking you. I mean, dude, if you want God but sex, I'm for you.
I mean, you stated this, man. You brought this on yourself.
See, me personally, like I still have to assume that he's just not like full psychopath and thinks that there's like this physical presence in the room with him when he's having sex with God. I have to believe that, because if he actually thinks that that's happening, he probably shouldn't be out in society, I'm guessing. Like, he needs some like serious help. But it's hard because you just don't know. Like, is he thinking about himself and that's sex with God? Like, what does he even mean by being in a sexual relationship with God? And every time somebody tries to ask him, like BS Unverted Man, I think that's a Deconverted Man, but I'm not sure, or Simus Funk, or even myself, the one time I asked like a serious question, he doesn't clarify what the fuck he's actually saying here. You know, is being in a sexual relationship with God, that could be translated into like family terminology, you know, because, you know, they would go out and they would have sex with people and they would bring people to God, and they would literally like call themselves the bride of Moses, David, or the bride of Jesus, or things like that. You know, there was these deep like family vibes coming off of this dude during this conversation, but he just never really clarifies what the fuck he means. But he kept saying that we could all experience it too, so he's actively promoting that this is something that every human being can experience and probably should experience, which is really, really fucking weird. I have never come across that God of the Bible before. I just haven't. Usually the God of the Bible is like, prude's not even the word for it, because like he'll straight up murder you for like, you know, being sexual, for being gay, or for, I don't know, not doing it fucking missionary, married, you know, probably to your 13-year-old wife if you have Smokey's way. My greatest thing about like Smokey's breakdown recently was when he just totally went fucking hardcore and was like, yeah, I wish I lived back in ancient Israel so I could just abuse people blatantly, so I could just like marry 13-year-olds, no problem.
Yeah, but I didn't think that it would lead into this.
I am so immature, dude. I can't help it.
But you did say like you and God.
Yeah, that is my stance. Stupid whore energy. The dude is either a Poe or just straight up mentally ill.
Get sexual shits like done. That's on you. I would never fucking imagine anyone would say that. Troll and non-troll.
There would have been a reason for me to bring it up because I'm sure, I think it was Corey that was making false accusations towards me.
Oh, yeah, that's Corey for you.
Corey.
No, Corey didn't make any false accusations. He just like asked you literally if you were if there was any possible thing a god could do that was so immoral you would stop following him. That's like, what the fuck? You know who was doing that biblically? Well, when I was driving home and he was saying that all atheists are liars because they really do know that God exists. And there is no such thing as an atheist, even though I'm an atheist and I'm here right now. Plenty of atheists in my side chat. There was a whole room full of atheists that he was telling this shit to. But Corey was the one, insulting him and misrepresenting him. It's fucking ridiculous. But, he's either a troll or he's severely, severely mentally ill and needs some serious help. And, the people around him need to help him if that's the case. Because here we have another guy that doesn't, as far as I know him, which I don't know him very well. Maybe he shows his face. Maybe he reveals some of his identity. But just straight up hardcore saying some really crazy shit behind an avatar.
God damn it, Corey.
Yeah, blame me. But here's the thing. I want a serious conversation with you. We're all trying to get a serious conversation.
Not
but
me.
when you're trying to avoid actual questions, like, you may convince us, but you're never going to do that if you're not going to answer our questions. You're not being an honest interlocutor. And if you're really trying to do something, the best way to do is take this seriously. Because I don't think you are. All of us here think you're a troll or a Poe.
Hey, biblically, I just want to say you might not want to look at the screen because you might get too turned on. But yeah, is that it for you?
Grr, do you want to get your stuff striked on or whatever?
What? It's just Jesus, just a sexy man, bloodied and tortured to death. But that's in the Bible. It's fine.
Jesus wouldn't have long hair to begin with.
That's a good kid.
No, that's quite sensible. Quite sensible. I just want to put in private chat. I've put Genesis 1:1 in there. That's track 1, first album by Genesis. Thank you.
Doesn't it say in the Bible that a man shouldn't cut his hair or beard because long hair and a long beard is pleasing to the eyes of God? I don't know. Biblically, doesn't seem so to know his Bible too well. I often scoff at the Charleston Heston depiction of Jesus. The white Jesus. Jesus would have been Arabia. He would have looked like the people in the area at the time. Definitely not a white Caucasian Jesus by any means. But he probably didn't cut his hair. He was a Jew, and I don't know. They were weird about that shit.
Yeah, so Genesis 1:1 is irrefutable. So the universe was created
good song,
by
I'll
our
give you that.
Heavenly Father. We are to bow our knee to Him, worship Him with all that we have, as He deserves it, and in return we'll be rewarded in accordance to His promises. If you choose to rebel, you'll be put into a place of torment.
You're fucking insane.
And also,
you're just straight crazy.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
anyway, should we move on? I mean, I'm fine with moving on at this
Yeah,
point.
I think we're.
Yeah.
All right, biblically, I'm
Kinda
gonna
got-
Yeah, and that was pretty much the insanity of last night. And wow, I've covered some crazy shit. I covered David Moses and his family. I believe that was his family and their expansion across the world. Sex for Jesus, but now it's sex with Jesus. sex with God. Erections were involved, but was it actual physical sex or was it mental sex? That's what we really couldn't nail down. Really weird, really fucking weird for Easter weekend to start off, because this was last night. This was on Good Friday. For it to start off in this manner, super odd. Super odd. We'll see what craziness ensues in the open room tomorrow night. If any ensues at all. But I thought it was interesting and funny and disturbing at the same time, because the dude clearly has some really, like, if he's serious about the shit he says, he has some mental issues. Like that's some mental shit right there. And I'm surprised that Christians don't go at him. I wonder if Smokey Saint ever came across this dude pointing, because Smokey would surely be pointing that heretic finger at this one, I believe. I'd be doing some crazy ass Smokey streams. But yeah, like, I had come across this guy. He came on my channel once. I remember him, and I just don't think I could deal with him for that long. So I give Grr props for keeping him in longer. And maybe had I kept him in my stream longer, we would have found out about this whole sex with Jesus thing a long time ago. But I don't know. If it is a real physical thing, I'd have to imagine it'd be the best sex ever. We're talking about God here. That had to be some freaky ass sex, man. And then just imagine that. Just baby Jesus is popping out all over the world. Oh, do you think biblical could get pregnant? I mean, we are talking about God here, you know. We're talking about the super sperm of all super sperm that it might even impregnate biblical. Oh, crazy shit. Easter holiday special, y'all. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being here. It's fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy. Y'all have a good night.